Today, I'm going to answer another question. Um, Question has come up since we opened Cedar Bean's coffee joint a little more than a year and a half ago here in Cedar Grove at 575 Pompton Avenue. Why we use antlers a lot in our advertising and in our logo. Um, and the answer is actually a lot more complicated than you would guess. You see, many years ago, when we first moved here to Cedar Grove, I was running on the West Essex Trail, and a smell of coffee kind of hit me as I was running on the trail. And I kind of looked to my left and my right and uh, saw off in the distance a bunch of deer all standing on their hind legs, holding cups of coffee. When I walked up to them, uh, I said, "Hey, deer standing on your back legs, drinking coffee. Where'd you get that coffee from?" And they all kind of casually looked over at me and took another sip. Um, and they said, "Oh, it's old Cedar Bean there makes it." And they pointed with their hooves, as well as a deer can point in a direction, um, over to a little clearing off further in the woods, where there was an enormous buck standing there with a very ancient coffee maker and grinder and beans strewn all over the the area around him. And he I kind of approached him a little bit delicately. I was a little nervous. He's maybe 10 foot tall, and I said, "Excuse me, are you old Cedar Bean?" And he kind of looked down on me with his big, deer eyes, and he said, "Why, yes, I am old Cedar Bean. Who might you be?" And I said, "Well, my name's Dave, and we just moved to Cedar Grove." And I said, "I smelled the coffee that you're drinking, and the deer over there actually told me that it would be a good idea for me to come over and ask you, how you're doing all this with the coffee." And he said, "Well, I have my own beans that I roast and I grind and I make into coffee, and all the deer in the area all love it so much that they all stick around in the area. They keep coming back to the Cedar Grove area just to drink more of my coffee." So I said, well, that'd be great. I'm thinking about maybe opening up a coffee shop in Cedar Grove, and if possible, I'd love to maybe get some of the beans that you've got." And he kind of looked over at me and scowled a bit, and then he sort of seemed something kind of, light bulb went off in his little deer mind, and he said, "Well, sure, I guess I can give you some of the beans. Why not spread the love around to the human beings of the area?" So he gave me a business card, which was weird, because how does a deer with his hoof hold a business card? But he had some kind of special sticky hooves, I don't know. Hands me a business card and says, "Call me anytime you want beans." So there it is, folks. That's why we use the antlers on the bean. It's a reference to old Cedar Bean, the majestic 10-foot buck that walks on two legs through the area forests, and also a callback to his wonderful beans, which we all, I think, can appreciate. Um, you can see old Cedar Bean around the shop. We have a nice um picture of him up on the wall, and he's referenced in our logo, both on the wall and on everything that we put out here. So, great question, kids. You're coming up with great ones. So, thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you at the next Old Cedar Beans neighborhood. Be good out there.